Very.
This really amazes me, actually. So last night we were just saying if Palace had beaten Arsenal, Liverpool win the league. And I was saying to you, Loz, nobody would want that. I mean, you've got a ticket for the game on Sunday. You don't want to win it at 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night when you're just, getting into your pajamas and watching Beyond Paradise, do you? You want to win it on Sunday. But the reaction from Arsenal fans was incredible, and it reminded me of something else. But basically, oh, it's a disgrace. Furious with what's going on. And yet last week, Arteta's amazing, and you're in a semi-final of the Champions League. Football seems to have lost context.
When did getting to a semi-final of the Champions League and beating Real Madrid, I mean, I know it's not full power Real Madrid, but feels so underwhelming? And do you know what I mean? Like, football fans, I think, maybe have lost a bit of the ability to live in the moment, because the second that you pick your phone, you can be in the stadium loving it, no signal, your 5G's blocked and O2 doesn't work inside half the stadiums in the UK, whatever. Or, maybe not O2, maybe it's Vodafone, maybe it's EE, all of them are just terrible. You're doing that. And then as soon as you get outside the stadium, you just get tweets, group chats, all this stuff. And it just breaks the moment. Do you know what I mean? You're not there anymore. Before, I'd switch off Sky Sports and go, right, Dad, should we go for a walk, or should we? Do you know what I mean? That was all I'd do as a kid.
It's a great point, because I tell this story a lot. When Man United won the 99 final in the Nou Camp, I wasn't in the Nou Camp. I wish I was, but I wasn't. I was in Dublin at a house party with about 30 people. Wow. And I don't really know what happened. Undercover, yeah. In Ireland. God, what would I have been doing? But the point is, the game sort of finished around 10 o'clock at night. And I don't really remember what happened between 10 o'clock at night and 3 o'clock in the morning. I know I vaguely remember we went down to the pub and everything like that. But I do remember the end of the night. I remember a cigar, big bottle of whiskey. 3 of us were left on the beach. And I remember uttering the words that probably, should be on a plaque somewhere on that beach that said, I don't want to go to bed. It will never get this good again. Which works also not just for football.
That's a T-shirt.
Yeah, that's everything. But I definitely didn't have a phone, and I definitely wasn't looking what they were saying on the United Stand or what Rio Ferdinand had to say on Twitter or anything like that.
Didn't know who he was.
It was literally living in the moment and loving it. And I think when you look at Arsenal last night and the 2-2 draw with Palace, and then you look at social media and video clips and the reaction to that, the vast majority are frustrating, angry. This is just not good enough. We've given the title to Liverpool, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, a week ago, you've just beaten Real Madrid to get to a semi-final of a tournament that you're one of the favourites to win, and you've never won it before. And you're moaning about a 2-2 draw against Palace that nobody wanted to play. Hello, everybody. Today's clip is supported by Sleeper. Before we dive in, let me tell you a bit more about Sleeper. This app is making serious waves. It was the #1 downloaded sports app in the US during the NFL season, even beating heavyweights such as ESPN and Yahoo. Sleeper isn't just popular, it's because they truly deliver the best fantasy experience. You get deeper customization, more league options, and all the bells and whistles that make managing your fantasy team a blast. But that's not all. Sleeper is growing a fantastic community with several million people using it daily for their sports fix. Sleeper has a broad appeal and is genuinely built for everyone. So, if you're looking to up your fantasy game, make sure to check out Sleeper by clicking the link in the video description. Trust me, you won't regret it. Crystal Palace didn't want to play it because they've got a game on Saturday, and your players don't want to really play it because they're not going to win the league and they've got a game there. How can you justify your head walking out of that game as an Arsenal fan and actually trying to be, Jamie Carragher on Red Bull with your white trainers and the stats board? Like, it's not that game. It's the same with United on Sunday. Amazing game on Thursday. Everyone was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And we overhyped it. Then we lose to a free kick against Wolves where we should have won the game. And everyone's like, hammer him out. And I'm like, can we not bring context?
Yeah. I think the context is also here. There will be a lot of fans that walk out of that stadium, the 50 plus gang who don't really exist on social media, who go, great night, enjoyed it again. See you guys next week. Yeah, sick. And they've had a good night. They won't say sick. They're 50 plus. There's no way they say sick. But
they'll go, no, you are sick. You look sick. Get to the hospital.
John, get home. Yeah. It could be. Yeah. And especially with your arthritis. So they'll get off, and they just they'll just go to the game next week. And in between that, they might hear one thing from their son, or, you know, they'll listen to TalkSport and hear Jason Cundy, you know, like doing whatever mental stuff he does. And that's all they'll do. But they'll still have their opinion.
Jason Cundy be there doing the thing he's done about a million times that wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah.
Where are you, Tony Adams? Where are you, Piers Morgan?
Brilliant.
Where are you? So good. It was average the first time, but on their 1,000th listen, it's still
my
great.
favorite thing is my favorite thing is when it cuts to Jamie O'Hara just going, yeah.
He should just get a cutout, shouldn't he, with a smiley face? And so I'll come in 5 minutes.
Some of those glasses where he's wide awake, but he's actually just taking a quick nap. That personally, sometimes it does seem as if that's what Jamie O'Hara has been doing, and sometimes I do actually think a cardboard cutout would be better than Jamie O'Hara. But that's another time, isn't it? And there is no beef with Jamie. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. It's just, yeah. So they go away. They do that. There are probably like a very vocal minority of people who just tweet a lot, but don't really represent reasonable people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And for some weird reason,
vocal minority,
we listen to them. Whereas actually, there's a lot of Arsenal fans who go, we missed out on the Premier League title this season, but realistically, we're probably favourites next season if we sign a striker. Yeah. We beat Real Madrid, but they weren't really that good. But we still beat Real Madrid, and we probably could beat PSG if we perform to our best. If we get to the final, will it be Inter? The Inter game would be so boring, by the way. But that's not the point, you know? So there's a bunch of context. I just think people get a bit, the pundits almost now, they almost want to make you angry. They almost, James Cundy and those guys, but also, I see guys just saying crazy stuff. Rio Ferdinand sometimes sort of does this tongue-in-cheek thing where he sort of goes, yeah, and people will hate that, won't they? Oh, God, I'm just mental, aren't I? And everyone's sort of like, okay. So the game was good, wasn't it? He'll go, yeah, they'll hate that. I was in the stadium for this. Yeah, I'd probably be running down with my bloody shirt off if I wasn't here in the commentary box getting paid a lot of money. Oh, I'm crazy. It's just
talk about him in a minute.
Just doesn't make any. It's all become, and maybe I wonder if you have this as well. Do you get burnout? Do you get like burnout in the season and you just start to think, do I really have another football opinion? I think you get through that, and then some people just sort of fall off a cliff. They just have crazy opinions. They've got nothing left.
Yeah, I think with I don't know whether it's like the modern way that people consume football. You don't have. It's like life. Like I have friends who have to have an opinion on everything. And one of the best advice I was given by my granddad years ago was support Man United, obviously, but also you don't have to have an opinion on everything. In fact, your life will be better if you don't. Because every opinion you put in, there's backlash, there's personal investment, and you will burn yourself out. You don't have to have an opinion on everything. And you don't have to have an opinion on every football game, because sometimes a football game isn't worth having an opinion on. Sometimes a football game is a requirement by the Premier League to fill an obligated fixture that neither of the teams actually want to play. At this time of the season, that is what happens. And that's what happened last night.
I love the, I don't actually love the James English podcast. I'm not taking shots at anyone here. I'm sure Jamie O'Hara's a lovely guy. I'd have a good pint with him. But the James English podcast, you know that one where he gets all the criminals on and then they just sort of go, yeah, I was in the cell and it was a miserable time. And there's the guy who claims he's read the Bible. Do you know that guy? And he goes, okay. So in the clip, he goes, I read the Bible front to back, Old Testament and New. And he goes, what's your favorite thing from the Bible? What would you say? And he goes, if you stop at every dog that barks along the way, you'll never get to your destination. Now, first of all, it doesn't say that in the Bible, all right? Not in the Bible. Jesus didn't say that. Paul, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, none of them spoke about the barking dog. But it's the same with Premier League games. Not every barking dog, these are Premier League games, do you need to watch. Just because it's on Sky Sports, there's plenty of other things you could watch. Do you know what I mean? And you don't need to have an opinion on Crystal Palace versus Brentford just because someone else has got an opinion on Crystal Palace. Sometimes you can just go, got a good opinion on Crystal Palace versus Brentford. Anyway, back to my day. But not many people do that. They sort of just stick their oar in where it's not needed. And they go, what I was thinking about was, you know what you should do? And it's like, actually, we don't need to know what you should do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just last night, isn't it? Arsenal fans, obviously you've got a right to an entitlement to an opinion. My opinion is that a draw was probably very predictable. Palace have got a game on Saturday. You've got a big game next week. You're not going to win the league. They're not going to get relegated. If I'm a Palace fan or an Arsenal fan, am I really going to waste any time after that game trying to deep dive into tactics, performance, or anything else when the context is both have got bigger games to come? And you know, the digesting of why Arsenal aren't going to win the league remains the same. My dog understands it. They didn't buy a striker. It really is that simple. And if you don't win the Champions League, it may well be the same reason you didn't buy a striker. And then Arsenal next season with a striker, I think, are going to win the league. So, you know, that's where I am.
Goldbridge, that's the end of the clip. I'm sure you enjoyed it. In fact, I bet that's the best clip you've ever watched. So there's no reason not to subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon so you never miss a clip again. In fact, smash a like on the video because we all know only legends like videos and you are all legends. So please smash a like on the video and we will see you again on the next one. Thank you very much for watching as always.